morning and welcome. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. If you'd like to be a part of the program, Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. You can watch us on YouTube and Facebook. Really good guest list today. Greg Willard, one of our favorites. He's our legal analyst. And we're also going to talk with Chris Gervino at 11 o'clock. KTRS is the home of Mizzou, and it's going to be one of the bigger sporting events of 2025 on Saturday at 6 or 6:30. Mizzou against South Carolina. You're 4-0, and you're going to keep yourself in line for the college football playoff. Chris is an old friend and a good guy, so we're excited about that. Jill, what's going on in your life?
I had a very good weekend, one of those weekends where I feel like all the energy got a little used up, so I need a little bit of boost of Monday energy, which you guys always give me as listeners and topics, and being with Frank and Connor here as well. Did you get a chance to watch on one of the TV screens at the station any of the Emmys last night, or were you all football all day?
That was probably true, the last part. But I did manage to turn the channel because the game was not particularly unbelievable a few times, and I did get to see, I think the coolest part of the Emmys, from my point of view, was to see Ray Romano and Brad Garrett on stage. The reunion of Everybody Loves Raymond, one of my favorite shows of all time.
And were they funny?
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have really enough time to those that can make the most out of just those presenter jobs and still do what they're doing. Have you, Connor or Frank, seen The Studio, which was one of the runaway winners?
I saw it. I liked it. I thought it started stronger than it finished, and it really isn't surprising it won this much. Hollywood loves movies and shows about Hollywood, and they love giving awards to those movies and shows.
I was going to say that it could be more stereotypical that the show that's about Hollywood is the one. I thought I agree with you 100%. I like it. I didn't think it was nearly as good as some of the other candidates for.
And your guy Noah Wiley wins as she predicted on Friday.
Lynn predicted on Friday.
That, right.
Yes. And I, of course, wanted to see our hometown hero, Sterling K. Brown, take that. And you and I both loved Paradise, so we liked his performance. And Noah Wiley deserved it as well. He was really, really good. A couple other surprises. Everybody thought Kathy Bates was going to take lead actor in a comedy or in a series, and she did not.
She did not?
No, it was, I'm forgetting her name, from Severance that won in that category. And she's very good.
Oh, yeah. So the one in Severance won. Okay.
Yeah, she's really good. And Britt
That's
Lauer.
Britt Lauer.
Yeah. We won't forget her name in the future anymore because she's winning the big awards.
Although I really haven't seen much of Kathy Bates' show. In fact, I haven't seen it at all, but I was kind of pulling for the fact that at age 77, she was the oldest to ever been nominated in that category, and she almost won, too. Yeah. She's just amazing.
I had no interest in the show whatsoever, and then a friend who I really trust and who's pretty hip and about 10 years younger than me said, no, it's more clever than you think. You got to give it a look. And I haven't been a diehard stalwart with sticking with every episode, but those that I have watched, I got the plot twist in the beginning grabbed me, and I have ended up liking it certainly more than I thought I was going to.
So it's Matlock. It's the old Andy Griffith thing?
No, but there's a couple of really good plot twisty tie-ins that I can't give away because it really ruins the beginning of the series.
But she's not the female equivalent of the role that Andy Griffith plays?
She's not playing that, but she does sort of have the same uncanny ability to get to the bottom of some mysteries, but there's just a longer plot thread, we'll call it, that goes through and why she's using that name that I think is a key part of the series. Listeners, you can tell me if I gave too much away there, but I think that's the best way to describe it without giving too much away. But yeah, she's still going strong for sure. Another question for you before we take our first break. Have you ever been to Cava, the fast casual Mediterranean chain in other cities?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay, it's one of my favorites. I have gone just when I was traveling for work in various cities, everywhere from New York to California. Texas has them. It's really tasty Mediterranean food. You can get these bowls with like amazingly yummy.
And what is this? What is this called?
Cava, C-A-V-A.
And it's not here.
Mediterranean lunch.
It is.
Oh, it's coming here.
Today,
Okay.
this morning. St. Louis Business Journal reporting that it is going to be going to De Pere.
Oh, De Pere.
I think if I looking at the outside at the architectural renderings, it might be where an Old Navy was. I can't tell exactly what was in there before. It was not a restaurant, but it's going to go not too far away from West County Center. So, and I will say my friends who love Cava and colleagues and other people I've talked to who look for it in other towns, thrilled. Lee Summit, Missouri had one. It was the only one in Missouri. And so for St. Louis to get one as well, I think it will become a new favorite.
Lee Summit had one. That's interesting.
I know.
Before St. Louis.
Suburban Kansas City. But so that was just one of those, I'm looking at the headlines this morning from our friends at the St. Louis Business Journal. And I was like, when it said Mediterranean fast casual comes to St. Louis, I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I hope it's Cava. And when I clicked and it was, big smile on my face.
In De Pere, okay.
Yeah,
That's good.
I think you would like it because you know how you're looking for something quick and fast, but you don't want it to be, purely junk food. This is a good option.
It's in a space that used to be a bank.
A bank. Okay, thank you.
Along those lines, Monique is taking pictures of the entrees they're eating, and so she always sends me a picture of from Croatia, Greek salads or this grilled halibut or their homemade pistachios, which are just like a lot better there.
Okay, but that was my question. Is Croatia definitely has more of that Mediterranean food flair, less of the Eastern European?
Exactly. She says it's just unbelievable how everything is so fresh. I did go to a restaurant. I took the kids to Filoni's on Saturday. I'll bet with Hank and the dogs, not Reggie, but I'll tell you, that's really a good place. Here's my question, though, for the day. I know this is interesting for you because you are a music person and a person who wants to communicate and look in person's eyes and really get down to their heart and what are they feeling. Do you like live music at a restaurant? I got to tell you, there was a great band, whatever it was fine. But it's like, I don't like it, and then everybody at our table doesn't like it either. Although there are people, and I know I'm completely wrong with half the population, that just love it.
Yes.
You can't hear the conversation.
No, it's not I'm with you on that. I like live music. I prefer it at a bar so that I'm going to listen to the music. Then we're not there. But something about eating a meal. I mean, occasionally, if it's John and I and it's a local musician we really like, we'll say and kind of know that we're not there to talk to each other. But yeah, a group of people out for dinner and they happen to have a live musician right there.
I don't like it.
Unless it's outside and you can get a little further away so you can enjoy music in the background and still have the conversation, I think it does impact the.
But with that said, love Filoni's.
Experience.
It's a cool place to bring dogs. The pizza's great. I love the salads, the cracked olives. Just, I can't.
And you
say
talked
enough
about
good things
Ferrados.
it.
That was your last meal with Monique last week. We did get several texts and a couple people I bumped into, listeners I hadn't met before, reminded me that historically Ferrados is where somebody goes when they're 9 months pregnant and it's famous for being the place that kicks people into labor when it's time to go. So it's kind of got
interesting you say that because there's another restaurant in St. Louis that I actually did a Frank's Food Picks on that claims that.
Okay.
And that restaurant is actually in the news in my opening dialogue, and it's not positive.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, it's not positive at all. And I'm rarely negative about a restaurant, but this is really interesting. Okay, we'll take our first break. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
Some of my fondest memories as a kid is heading down to the hardware store. You had to pick up a couple of nails, a couple of screws, maybe a gallon of paint, whatever it may be, right? It was your friendly neighborhood hardware store. Well, those don't exist anymore in St. Louis, except for Schnarr's Hardware. They have two locations in Webster Groves and in Clayton Road in Ladue. Schnarr's Hardware is that place where you go in and you can get that bucket of paint, you can get a couple of screws. The advice is always free. And the one thing about Schnarr's Hardware that every single family hardware store used to have, and that is the smell. It smells like a hardware store. It's got the selection. I don't know how they do it. It's a small store, but they got everything you ever need. They got the paint. They got paint matching. They've got big green eggs. They've got screws and nails and everything a hardware store should have. Schnarr's Hardware, two locations, one great hardware store. Schnarr's Hardware. We'll see you there.
I'm Mark Cantor. Here's why you can count on Cantor Injury Law.
My name is Michelle. I'm a litigation paralegal at Cantor Injury Law, and you can count on Cantor because we are smart, honest, and hardworking.
I'm Kevin Glenn, and a partner here at Cantor Injury Law. You can count on Cantor because we make your cause our cause.
No fee if no recovery. Please visit CantorInjuryLaw.com or call us at 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, it's Julie Buck for our friends at Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution, and they've been in St. Louis for over 20 years with 2 locations, one at Clayton and Lindbergh, and the other one just west of 270 on Olive. If you've got your own business and you want to have a better banking experience, look no further than Triad Bank. Their mission is to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services to you and your business. For more, go to triadbanking.com.
Andy from Hats and Stuff. The summer's heat is starting to break and the kids are back to school, and we're gearing up for an exciting fall with a great selection of NFL and NHL hoodies, ball caps, and so much more. We still have great deals on Cardinals and Mizzou merchandise for the entire family at fantastic prices. We have a huge selection of St. Louis-inspired graphic tees, all at $10. And don't forget about the cowboy hats. Located in Westport Plaza across from the Drunken Fish and the Kobe Steakhouse and the Soulard Farmers Market on Saturdays. Hats and Stuff. Good stuff at really great prices.
Hats and Stuff. Congratulations to John Beal Roofing. Want to give them a shout out. They've been a sponsor of the show through thick and through thin for coming up on 20 years. And their message has remained the same all these 20 years. Make sure you call someone local. With all the storms that have been in the area over the last couple of months, it's been busy, and a lot of out-of-towners are coming in. They sure are nice, but you know what? They'll take half your money, and you never see them again. Somebody from the insurance industry told me, make sure you call local. I told them I was well-schooled. John Beal Roofing will guarantee you the best price. They'll work with your insurance company and make sure you get the claim you deserve to fix it and fix it right. Roofing, siding, gutters, all storm damage, John Beal Roofing will take care of it. Keep it local and keep it John Beal. Keep it in the family for 20-plus years. John Beal Roofing, 1-800-NEW-ROOF or johnbealroofing.com.
It's Julie Buck here to tell you that the patio is open at Bishop's Post right next to Chesterfield Mall. Get your reservations in now and go to Bishop's Post. You will love it. Tell them Julie Buck sent you, bishopspost.com.
Truck drivers and owner-operators, there's never been a better time to team up at Schneider. We have more team-friendly loads than ever, including express delivery parcel freight that offers great miles with no delays to keep the wheels turning. Plus, for a limited time, company team drivers may be eligible for a sign-on bonus of up to $16,000. Owner-operator teams may qualify for a $10,000 incentive. Explore team driver positions at SchneiderJobs.com and search team contracting jobs at SchneiderOwneroperators.com.
And now the opening dialogue with Frank and Jill on the Big 550 KTRS.
Powered by Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Thought one. There is an Italian expression that goes like this: la mano fino, the fine hand. My dad used it a lot and taught lessons to us all the time. He had it. He could finesse and adapt and always use the fine hand. Or, as high-priced life coaches like to say, de-escalate. Anyway, LSU just won a big game against Florida, big SEC game. And the first question and answer to LSU head coach Brian Kelly went like this. So, like, if you're a reporter, that's probably not the way to go about it. And it's not the way to go about life. Like, you can ask that question kind of midway and you finesse it, you la mano fino it. It would be like if your child comes home from school or practice and you blast away and you alienate him or her right away. My dad always used the sandwich effect. You know, you played a really good game or you did a really good job on that paper. I think we have to do something about that accounting class and your preparation for a test. Hey, by the way, do you want to get some wings later? Should the coach have responded like he did? No. But I think you got to be smart and like cloak the question. Coach, big win. You're unbelievable at night, 19-1. Like midway through the press conference, items of concern. What are you seeing right now with that offense? You just don't start that bluntly, you know, in life and in a press conference.
I think the thing that is such a human nature reaction that's really hard to shift is defensiveness. When somebody comes at us in a perceived, and especially if you're a coach and you've just coached and you're at what we would call limited emotional capacity anyway, because you're drained. You're just naturally going to be drained. And when somebody comes at you with what your most primal system in your brain reacts to as an attack, it's almost always going to elicit a defensive or re-attack response. And so just from a human nature perspective, it makes more sense to do what you can to get information from the other person that causes them to give an answer. Now, unless you're, unless you're Tom Cruise trying to get Jack Nicholson to get mad so he'll confess
the charge.
to draw the charge, that's a totally different tactic.
Now, apply this to everyday life, like your relationships. Let's say there's something really irking you about John. Do you go right at him, or do you finesse it?
On my worst day, sure, because then I want to be right and I want to get the point across. Okay. And on my best day, I realize all we're going to do is get frustrated with each other, and nobody's going to hear what the other person is saying. Your point doesn't get made when you have elicited a defensive response in the other person, because it's hard. I mean, primally, we want to defend ourselves from outside attack, and we're good at it. It just doesn't always lead to good communication.
Good.
On Donnybrook last week, a couple of the panelists said that even though Missouri at that time was most likely, and of course it did on Friday, pass redistricting, we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet here, but the panelists were positing, a couple of them, it may not be over. Talk of a petition drive to force a statewide vote on the issue. Here's how guest panelist Andy Banker, I admit he is my old friend, I think he's got a great voice. Here's how he summed up his perception on all of this. Now, Bill McClellan, who was a guest on the show last week, Sarah Fensky, Joe Holloman, who are regular guests on this show as well, all said, listen, Andy, you can't take what happened at the State House, which was somewhat of a surprise showing of opposition. A lot of people noted that was noteworthy. However, and when it comes to it, we're a 60% Republican, roughly, not quite, state here. And anything that President Trump thinks is going to be best for the good of the country is generally going to have enough support that a statewide vote isn't going to reverse that, despite what the vocal opponents tried to show in Jeff City last week. So he didn't have a panel agreement all the way across the board, but it was an interesting discussion.
Yeah, it is. Because, look, the Republicans are guilty of it. When they have power, the Democrats are guilty of it. When they have power, it's just a way of life. People may not like it, but if you have the juice to do it and to affect, your state's being Republican or a Democrat, you're just going to do it. That's just the way it is. But all right, thought two, the Charlie Sheen doc, right up there with the one on the Dallas Cowboys in terms of my interest. This is how good it is. Monique, never a Charlie Sheen fan, kept me from watching it at the same time she was watching it in Croatia. And her first question from Croatia was, hey, did you see the Charlie Sheen doc? Yeah, I tried to, but I couldn't because you were watching it. And the weird thing is...
oh, you had too many users on the same streaming service. Got it.
And the weird thing is, despite doing everything wrong a human being can do, everything, you kind of root for him now. Or at least I do. His ex-wives love him. He has a Dean Martin effortless quality about him that is really appealing. Two quick things. The Karate Kid movie, he was given the lead role opportunity, but he was also finishing up a minor project. He asked that they delay the shooting of Karate Kid for 2 weeks, and he could do it. They wouldn't do it. He went to his dad and said, hey, I can do this. This is a big major motion picture, and I got a bit role in this other show. His dad said, you gave that other show your word. Your word is everything. Ralph Macchio got 5 movies out of it. But then, as Charlie said, who knows, if I would have gotten that role, I may have been typecast because Ralph Macchio did very little after that. Mm-hmm. The other thing that jumped out at me about the doc is his father, Charlie's dad. He never gave up. He never stopped loving. He is just a great father and a great man. I mean, this show may not be for everybody, but if you get through it, you're going to be moved. And I wouldn't be surprised if at the very end, despite everything he's done, you're hoping, boy, make that 8 years being sober 16 or 24. It was powerful.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I haven't had a chance to catch up. I'm not caught up where you are, but and just what Martin Sheen has written about addiction and loving people in addiction. He never gave up, but he also had to stop enabling at some point, and that's the hardest thing to do.
Hey, one more quick thing is when Martin Sheen had his addiction, Charlie was like 12 or 13. He went on the set of Apocalypse Now, and Charlie was a big baseball lover. He brought 2 gloves and a ball, and while his dad was going through this, they played catch. And to this day, his father credits that like reprioritizing his missions in life that, hey, I'm supposed to be a father. I should be playing catch. I got to stop this. Just playing catch with dad had such a powerful thing. I mean, they both helped each other. It was really neat.
Wow, really, really powerful stuff. A local brand that at least a couple of us here in the studio have sampled quite a bit just got some very, very good news about the possible of national expansion, and that is St. Louis Kolache. The founder, Russ Clark, telling our friend here at KTRS, George Mahey, a regular on The Carney Show, that Walmart is considering a push to allow the kolaches to go nationwide. He presented at one of Walmart's open calls in Kansas City and made such an impression with the pastry, kind of like a little Hawaiian sweetbread sandwich stuffed with all sorts of goodies, that they got what's called a fast pass, which in those Walmart open calls is the equivalent, according to George, of a golden ticket, like in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, because distribution, right? When you have the distribution of Walmart, that just, it absolutely can help take it to the next level. And then most recently also, the Kolache brand is being considered for expansion onto by airlines. Wouldn't that be great airplane food?
Yeah, for airplane food, it would be good.
It stays hot for a long time. The flavors can stay present. You know, it's got a natural. It's interesting to me. Not that I'm a food history expert by any means, but every culture in our world has hand sandwiches, which were the working man sandwiches historically, calzones, kolaches, in Asian, the steamed rice buns. Those are all working man's food that you put into your lunch pail every day. So I think it's kind of fun when they go mainstream like this.
I think they're solid. I like them, but I think it's almost like a first date. Oh, this is really interesting. And then after a while,
you get tired of them?
Yeah, because I haven't gone back to it in a while. But I think I remember initially, wow, these are really good. And then, you know, but they're good.
I think that's a lot of people are. It's a regular stop. It's an easy lunch. It's something different than the regular fast food. So I think they have more appeal to a wider audience than that.
Okay, thought 3, couple of quick ones here. Approximately 60 million people play fantasy football, and it brings out the worst in mankind. True story. I'm playing against a team who has Sam Laporta. Laporta is an Italian boy from the area. I used to get him on my high school highlights on Friday nights. As soon as he got hurt, and I'm playing against him, I actually felt good. I am going to hell. He returned, by the way, later. But that's what kind of it brings out the worst. Andy Moeller, my producer at KSTK, lives and dies the Chiefs. Devontae Smith is on his team. He caught a long ball against the Chiefs, and Andy is yelling, get in the end zone, get in the end zone. I looked at him and said, wait a minute, you're rooting against the Chiefs? Fantasy football, it's bad for America. It really is. Finally, this is a serious topic. On Facebook, there was an entry that has gotten a lot of play. A restaurant, and a quality restaurant for years, Frank Papa's. Frank sold it. He's no longer involved. But a chef, and he actually may be the owner, the new owner, posted Charlie Kirk finally leaning left on the gun issue. Oh, my gosh. even if you're against Charlie Kirk on everything he stands for, a man was assassinated for his beliefs, and a wife has no husband and 2 babies don't have a dad, and you're at a restaurant and you want people to come to your restaurant knowing that half the people probably agree with Charlie Kirk, and then there's a healthy percentage of people who don't agree with Charlie Kirk but are just, shocked and saddened that this family has been devastated by this terrible assassination. I'm telling you, what a dumb move by this restaurant, and the protests have already begun. It's become pretty popular on Facebook. So,
I have been contemplating stuff all weekend long. As I mentioned on Friday, we headed up to Iowa. My parents, the time has come when it's time for them to go to assisted living, which they're doing with grace and dignity, as they do most things that they've done in life. And unlike many of my friends' parents in their mid-80s, they have moved multiple times in retirement. So they have really done a great job every time they've moved and downsized of getting rid of stuff. Still, it's overwhelming. It is absolutely exhausting to make the decisions of what to keep, what to give away, what goes with you, what matters, what doesn't, who gets what. And my sisters and I had what I think very healthy conversations, and I tried to make sure I was the key sorter and stuff getter ridder of this weekend, to use a technical term.
Yeah.
And it was great. We just said, who wants this, who doesn't? The grandkids are all growing up, most of them living on their own, many getting married now. So to see how many of them wanted pieces of their grandma's kitchen to be able to carry on the legacy of incredible cooking that she's done, that was really touching to my mom. She thought it was beautiful. But it's something that comes up all the time with clients, with friends, with others. In some cases, I know people that the onus of cleaning out parents' houses put strains on marriages, created rifts that have never gone away in families among siblings and even between generations, like parents and children. It really is something that if you don't take care of it yourself, it's a legacy that you leave behind that creates a lot of challenges for those behind you. A couple of resources that are out there if you are in a situation where you don't want to leave your kids with a giant house full of things that they become a burden to them after you're gone or as you're transitioning. There's a great book called The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. It spawned a short series on Peacock, which was produced by Amy Poehler. It's excellent. Another good one is called, that's moving up the bestseller charts right now, is Nobody Wants Your Blank. I won't say the word on radio. The Art of Decluttering Before You Die. And then another one, which is a little more serious but very good, is called Keep the Memories, Lose the Stuff. Declutter, downsize, move forward with your life. That's by Matt Paxton. They're just
That's a good book.
Good ways as we're getting along the path of life to think about not only what we leave behind, but what burden we leave behind when we leave all of our stuff for somebody else to take care of.
Almost, what do you think, percentage of people that are 50 and above that should be decluttering?
Everybody should be decluttering. We know that there's a direct correlation between having less stuff and feeling more peace and freedom and less stress in your house. But we also love to accumulate, and we get really tied up emotionally with our stuff. And so those two things make it really hard.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, he's the best. Greg Willard joins us.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. The heat cranks up even more for the weekend. We'll start off at 72 with mostly sunny skies Saturday morning. Turning partly cloudy in the afternoon, a high of 96. Not overly humid, heat index to 97. But there's a 10% chance for a spot shower or thunder shower in the afternoon to very early evening. So not out of the question to get a little wet. Most will stay dry, though. Another 10% chance for a spot storm, a few more clouds, partly to mostly cloudy on Sunday, with a high of 96 again. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
When it comes to mortgage lenders, I know you have no shortage of options. But are you working with someone local who can truly simplify the process? I'm David Goldberg with the Goldberg Group. And as a St. Louis home purchase expert, I know this market inside and out. I specialize in tough-to-complete situations for borrowers who are self-employed, looking to buy and sell at the same time, and may have been turned down somewhere else. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or seasoned homeowner, you can trust me with all of your home financing needs. Call Call or text me at 314-471-4030. 314-471-4030.
Stay connected with the Big 550 KTRS, streaming 24/7 online at KTRS.com or on the KTRS app.
Powered by JBL Financial.
Stream Straight Talk on Retirement every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
Hey, it's Heidi Glaus, and I want to remind you to tune in to the Heidi Glaus Show with Bob Ramsey and Josh Gilbert weekdays from 3 to 6. You don't want to miss all the fun. Plus, twice a month, we're joined by Dr. Ravi Johar, the Chief Medical Officer for United Healthcare. Dr. Johar and United Healthcare will keep us informed and educated about everything happening in the healthcare system, plus important facts to keep us healthy. United Healthcare and the Heidi Glaus Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
Football is back, which means Dogtown is back. Dogtown Pizza, that is. And with 12 games on Mizzou's upcoming football schedule, you can have a different pizza every game. Kick off the season with a bacon, have a hot chicken on homecoming, and save that pepperoni peppercini, my favorite, for Arkansas. It's football season, and nothing goes better with the pigskin than a hot Dogtown Pizza. Let's cheer on those Missouri Tigers. M-I-Z... D-O-G, Dogtown Pizza, and dogtownpizza.com.
Everyone's talking about these weight loss drugs, and it's a good thing we've got Dr. Joe Molesky with us, a St. Louis native and board-certified primary care physician. Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
The magic cure is these weight loss shots. They're injected once weekly. They're not like the old medications that you've seen 20, 30 years ago. These medications actually work. They're injected once weekly, and patients see within the first 90 days 10 to 15 pounds down. It simply works, and that's why I recommend it to all of my patients. You simply go online, book an appointment. You fill out a health questionnaire form. You get an appointment on our schedule. It's all telemedicine based. It's all done from your home. And then you meet with me or one of my nurse practitioners. And then after the 10, 15-minute consult, the medication is delivered right to your door discreetly, and you get started right now on your weight loss journey.
And you want to start to lose weight? None better than to call STLMedWeightLoss.com and ask Dr. Joe. STLMedWeightLoss.com.
The big, beautiful tax bill just passed. Do you know how these changes will affect your financial plan? What changes has your financial advisor made to take advantage of these opportunities before they expire? Join me, Kevin Lloyd, for my next tax workshop, 314-641-1010. Learn how these changes can benefit you and your family. 314-641-1010.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPLA, registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC.
Well, we're thrilled. He's our favorite guest. He's Greg Willard, SLU constitutional law professor. Good to be with you, sir. How are you?
Good to be with you. Good morning.
Could literally go the rest of the program talking about the hot topics in politics and in life. First, at what point, or is there any point, do family and friends bear any responsibility for what happened with the assassination with Charlie Kirk?
Generally speaking, no. And let me give you the lawyer hedge, Frank, with the word generally. As a general proposition, if people are aware of criminal activity being afoot, they generally do not have a duty to report that to law enforcement or other authorities. The line, and it's a tricky one, but the line is, when does that complacency tip over to participation or facilitation of the criminal act? And that's a tough question for a jury. But as a general proposition, simply being aware in our society that criminal activity may be afoot, that awareness does not rise to criminal jeopardy for the person.
And so I guess in states like Missouri, we don't have red flag laws. So if someone, we've seen cases where a mass shooter who killed people at Southwest High School, family, close members did report him to authorities. Authorities did all what they could do within the constraints of the law, and there was nothing they could do.
That's a great sort of fence post on the civil side of the law. We have civil remedies and we have criminal. My comment to Frank dealt with criminal. You are spot on, Jill, in pointing out on the civil side these so-called red flag laws. But even in red flag states, if a person is aware that X is...
Somebody's making threats, saying they're going to go shoot up a school.
The person who becomes aware of that, even in a red flag state, they're not required to. But the difference between my conversation with Frank and your hypothetical is that in a red flag state with a civil remedy, a person who becomes aware of it can report that to the authorities. The authorities can go to a court and get a civil confinement order or retention order against the disturbed person. That's very different from a criminal prosecution.
Got it. Thank you.
Well, he turned himself in, but what's the strategy now that the governor, Spencer Cox, is saying that Tyler Robinson is not cooperating with authorities? What's your take on that?
I assume he has counsel, and counsel has said to him, shut up, period, full stop. Assert his rights under the Fifth Amendment, not to say anything further to incriminate him. I would not read anything into that, Frank, more than he probably has a lawyer who's giving him first day law school 101 advice. Be quiet, let the prosecution prove their own case.
Interesting stuff. Switching gears just a little bit, you mentioned to us, and then I started reading about it, and of course you were on the leading edge of the discussions. You mentioned last time you were here that the Supreme Court is going to hear the case on tariffs and potentially conversation around limitation of presidential powers when it comes to tariffs, and that it's kind of unknown exactly how everybody's going to vote, party line or not party line, on this. The interesting point you brought up, and I've been reading about it since we chatted about it over the weekend, is if the Supreme Court rules, let's say, against President Trump's policies here, do we have to pay everybody back that money?
That will be the $64,000 question that the Supreme Court, if there's a majority presumably, will have to address. The scenario would go like this. The Supreme Court hears the tariff case, as they are going to, I think oral argument will be in November, Jill. We will get the answer then probably in the first quarter of 2026. Let's assume for the moment that the court holds that these tariffs are unconstitutional. At that point, the question is, what is the remedy? The remedy can take various forms. It can be a prospective remedy, which is, well, these tariffs are unconstitutional, and if any are collected after today, they have to be paid back. Then there's some intermediate that, well, they're unconstitutional, but the only people who get refunds are the people who have brought these lawsuits. Or all the way to the other extreme, they are unconstitutional, and federal government, get out your checkbook and write about a $1 trillion with a T dollar check to refund all of these unconstitutional tariffs that have been collected in the last, at that point, it will be about 14 months.
Yeah, and a gut feel opinion, what do you think will unfold, if you had to guess?
If they hold it to be unconstitutional, I think they will move heaven and earth to make it either prospective or to apply immediately only to the party litigants, Frank. I will be surprised if they make it retroactive. It wouldn't be beyond the pale, but for all of their judicial acumen, the Supreme Court justices, they're very much aware of the effect of some of these decisions, and there will be, in terms of the federal Treasury, may never be a case that has a bigger contingent or potential effect than this one. They will be aware of that, and I think that will affect how they define and construct the remedy.
The day after Catherine Hanaway took office as the new Missouri Attorney General, her office formally withdrew a controversial, some people have called it controversial, social media moderation rule that had been proposed by former Attorney General Andrew Bailey. The rule was abandoned due to feasibility concerns. Greg Willard, you are a KTRS legal analyst. I don't know what that means. Does it mean anything for the average Missourian?
It means a couple of things at least, Jill. One, for the citizens of Missouri who live in the eastern half of the state, it is a shining example of what I said on these airwaves when it was announced that Catherine Hanaway was going to be appointed the new Attorney General. And I said on these airwaves that she will be a terrific Attorney General, given her experience as Speaker of the Missouri House, United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Missouri. So she's now the Attorney General for the state of Missouri. A controversial at the outset proposal was made by her predecessor to require large social media platforms to make available to the citizens of Missouri third-party moderators for their content. That's a heavy lift for the platforms, a really heavy lift. And I understand why her predecessor proposed this, but she very quickly came in and, under the cloak of feasibility concerns, withdrew it. Let me suggest that the feasibility concerns, all roads lead back to a pretty simple point. That proposed rule was most likely unconstitutional as violating freedom of speech, violating what is known as the Commerce Clause, and violating what is known as federal preemption under Section 230 of the Telecommunications Act. You bundle all of that up. This rule was not going anywhere other than to feather the financial nests of a whole bunch of lawyers across Missouri, and Attorney General Hanaway, to her credit, pulled it. And I think from a state citizenry standpoint, we're all much better for her action.
So the most talked about election in the United States, no doubt about it, is the New York mayoral race. And breaking this morning, Governor Hochul has given Mamdani her support. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the Republicans want to paint him as a defund the police, anti-Semitic guy. In a way, is this a good thing for Republicans?
Oh, this is the biggest political gift that the Democrats in New York could give the Republicans, not only in New York, Frank, but as we've talked on the air before, nationally. And the gift goes like this. What we have seen in recent years at the national level is that the national party has moved significantly to the left. Out in AOC, Bernie Sanders, Mr. Mamdani, out into that space. And the American people have said no. Period. I have suggested that whether it's Gavin Newsom, Rahm Emanuel, or all the way over to Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, whether the National Democratic Party can see their way to move to the middle will dictate, I think, their prospects in significant part in 2028. If this is a bellwether of what we, the American people, are about to see from the Democratic Party, I would suggest that on January 20th of 2029, there will be a Republican standing on the steps of the United States Capitol taking the presidential oath. It is the endorsement of Mamdani in the context of taking it from New York to national is a wonderful gift if you are a Republican stalwart.
Very good stuff, as always, Greg Willard. Thank you so much for your time and for just, it seems like every week we have a whole long list of other things that we need clarification on. You are certainly the man to do it. We appreciate you so very much.
Great to be with you. Stay safe.
And I think it's always, those of us who have been in the news business, have been in the media business, information is what we really love, and we love sources of information that we can trust. And for those of us who are connectors and like to share information with other people, having somebody to recommend to give the best information is another thing we like doing. And that's why I love having Capital Advisory's Jeff Zufall on our team here at KTRS and on my team as well. Jeff does such a good job at taking the complicated world of wealth and management and making sure that you have the money to live in your senior years comfortably for hopefully a very long time as you live a long and active life. Jeff and his team are adamant and passionate about having honest conversations and true conversations and about just really understanding what the numbers tell us. They want to go to the math so that you have a clear understanding of just exactly what you need to do, whether you're a couple of years away from retirement or whether retirement is long time down the line. Do yourself a favor. Tell your kids, tell your grandkids, the time to start having these conversations is now. And the person to start having these conversations with is Jeff Zufall and his team at Capital Advisory Group. CapitalAdvisoryGRP.com, 636-394-5524.
Every day another adventure. Our greatest discoveries come when we stop searching. Beneath the endless sky, away from the stress of work, the answer to the ancient Zen mystery, the sound of one hand clapping. Take a trip in an RV from Byerly in Eureka.
For the rest of your life, you gotta be there. Byerly RV.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella Window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. And have a Banner day.
Hey, it's Heidi, and I've only sold 2 houses, but I know how stressful it can be. I also know the team at Lauren Risley Realty makes the entire process as easy as possible. I watched Lauren work with friends and my parents, and I can say she is top notch. She doesn't just know the market, she knows what to look for in a home, and that includes red flags. And through all of it, she is calm, cool, and kind. So if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, or if you just have a question, call Lauren Risley Realty, 314-775-0684, or go to laurenrisleyrealty.com.
Candy from Hats and Stuff. The summer's heat is starting to break and the kids are back to school, and we're gearing up for an exciting fall with a great selection of NFL and NHL hoodies, ball caps, and so much more. We still have great deals on Cardinals and Mizzou merchandise for the entire family at fantastic prices.
We have a huge selection of St. Louis-inspired graphic tees, all at $10. And don't forget about the cowboy hats.
Located at Westport Plaza across from the Drunken Fish and the Kobe Steakhouse and the Soulard Farmers Market on Saturdays. Hats and Stuff. Good stuff at really great prices.
Hats and stuff. Hats and stuff. Hats and stuff.
Welcome back. I can't believe anybody, as I told you, Joe, last week, would be watching at 5 o'clock the news opposite the Chiefs and the Eagles in a rematch of the Super Bowl. And somebody just texted in, Frank, I saw Reggie on TV last night. How's he feeling? What did the vet say? Real quick is he'll follow me wherever I go. And since it's a shot from the waist up and Reggie's not that big, they would never see him. So he's with me on my feet while I'm doing the sports, but they went to a wide shot, and he popped on for a few seconds. And this very alert texter saw Reginald on TV last night.
Oh, so you didn't even say, and Reggie came along with me today.
No, I didn't even know. And then the director said, by the way, Reggie just got on TV.
It was an eye
And he sat
spy.
next to me during the entire Sports Plus, too.
He's adorable, and we love it when he comes in. But I will have to say, on Friday when he was here, I went down on the floor and petted him, and his tail just kind of wagged slowly from back and forth. And I was like, man, he's not quite back. You haven't quite gotten his, what do I want to say, his zip back in his step. Yeah, hope it comes very soon. I mentioned a couple of times, if my parents were in St. Louis, we would have quite a while ago had the conversation with our friends at McKnight Place Assisted Living and Memory Care, because they do such an excellent job at helping this transition. And I've been very lucky. My parents have not resisted the transition when they've needed more support as they have gone down the path of life, and aging has limited some of their mobility, created some memory issues in one case. Those kinds of things. But I really appreciate it. And I've had many friends that didn't have that. It was after the death of a parent or after a debilitating stroke when everything had to change all at once. So our friends at McKnight Place are there for you, whatever your situation is. If it's an emergency kind of situation where you need to have safe living arrangements, either assisted living or more skilled care, they're there to help you with that. And they also want to encourage you to, if you can, to begin these conversations much earlier so the process doesn't feel as traumatic and as overwhelming. They just have such a beautiful space. They have such a long history of being St. Louis-based and caring about St. Louisans like no one else. Making that call, having the tour, beginning the conversations, it's one of the best things you can do for your spouse, for yourself, for your kids, for your loved ones. McKnightPlace.com, 314-993-3333.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis, Ladue, Glen Carbon, University City, Edwardsville, Manchester, Wood River, Grafton, and the world.
Streaming live at KTRS.com.
Depend on it.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The 22-year-old Utah suspect accused in the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk remains in custody. Authorities say Tyler Robinson could be formally charged as early as tomorrow. ABC's Matt Gutman is in Utah with the latest.
Authorities in Utah are poring over what they call a mountain of evidence against 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, the man authorities say fired that single fatal shot, killing Charlie Kirk. The district attorney saying they hope to file charges by tomorrow, but authorities say they're receiving little help from the suspect, who turned himself in Thursday.
Kirk's funeral and memorial service set for Sunday at State Farm Stadium outside Phoenix. President Trump expected to attend. In Israel, Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu held a briefing after talks on Israel's military push into Gaza. Rubio says a ceasefire deal is preferred, but talks have not led to the release of remaining Hamas-held hostages or for Hamas to surrender.
But I think we have to be prepared for the fact that savage, terrorists don't normally agree to things like that. But we'll continue to pursue that route. It's the ideal outcome, but it may require, ultimately, a concise military operation to eliminate them.
President Trump has signaled he's ready to move forward with sanctions against Russia, but only if NATO joins in.
It comes as tension is running high in Eastern Europe.
Russia and Belarus holding joint military exercises as Romania Saturday scrambled fighter jets after Russian drones violated their airspace. The second incursion over a NATO country in less than a week. Just days earlier, Poland forced to shoot down more than a dozen Russian drones that crossed into the country's airspace.
ABC's Mary Bruce. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, speaking in Madrid, says after meeting with a Chinese delegation, there's a framework for a TikTok deal to keep the app running in the U.S. and avert a sale. President Trump and China's leader will have the final say. They're expected to hold talks later this week. You're listening to ABC News.
You have the option to control your cash flow and wealth. Are you getting a return on your greatest asset, your lifetime and potential generational income? Overcome these critical financial planning challenges by discovering the control option mindset featuring the lifetime and generational income maximizer. Call Mark Benson and his team at the Control Option at 314-432-9540 or online at thecontroloptionmindset.com.
I'm Mark Miller, owner of Miller Furniture and Mattress, your home for quality American-made furniture since 1927. We offer the largest selection of Amish-made furniture in the St. Louis area, plus quality living room furniture from Flex Steel and Smith Brothers. We carry top-quality mattresses from world-famous brands like Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and Chatham & Wells. Shop our Belleville, Fairview Heights, Lake St. Louis, and Ellisville showrooms. At Miller Furniture, we put the family in furniture.
This is KTRS News. I'm Sobe Bay. A Wisconsin man accused of carjacking two nuns with a toy gun in the Central West End last month is due to make a court appearance later this week. 25-year-old Jordan Grundy is charged on several counts, including first-degree robbery and resisting arrest. The charges stem from August 17th, when Grundy approached two nuns leaving Mass and allegedly demanded their vehicle with what appeared to be a real gun. Police later spotted Grundy in the stolen vehicle, leading to a police chase. The chase ended when Grundy crashed into a tree. A preliminary court hearing is set for this Wednesday. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Department is re-examining a cold case of a teen who disappeared more than 20 years ago. KTRS's Jill Enders has the story.
13-year-old Bianca Piper was last seen on March 10th of 2005 when she left her family's home on McIntosh Road to go for a walk. Now, numerous searches were conducted over the years, along with the case being posted on billboards and bus stop benches in hopes of finding Piper. Investigators hope new advances in forensic science will help solve the case. Anyone with any information should call the Lincoln County Sheriff's Department or Crime Stoppers at 1-866-371-TIPS. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
Missouri's proposed new congressional map is one step away from becoming reality. The Missouri Senate approved the Missouri First map on Friday and is now awaiting Governor Mike Kehoe's signature. Meantime, Missouri's new congressional map is facing legal action. The ACLU has filed a lawsuit alleging that the Missouri General Assembly violated the state constitution. The lawsuit further argues that the current congressional map must remain in place until after the next census. The Missouri Department of Transportation's Focus on Bridges program has advanced as a finalist in the 2025 America's Transportation Awards competition. The project, which took first place in the regional competition, is now in the running for the top two prizes, the Grand Prize and the People's Choice Award, the latter of which is determined by public online voting. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florists, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. The Boeing strike in the St. Louis area continues. This comes after members of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers rejected the company's latest contract offer on Friday. Boeing executive Dan Gillian says the machinist's rejection of the contract offer is disappointing, and the company will continue with its contingency plan, including hiring permanent replacement workers. And now let's take a look at the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune in to Straight Talk on Retirement, Saturdays from 9 to 11 a.m. Right now on Wall Street, Dow Jones is down 11 points to 45,822. S&P 500 is up 29 points to 6,613. And the NASDAQ is up 187 points to 22,328. KTRS Sports, the Cardinals snapped a 5-game losing streak with a 3-2 win in Milwaukee. The Birds are 4 games out of a possible wildcard spot with the Reds coming to Busch tonight. St. Louis City SC beat Montreal 2-0 to notch their first win on the road since March. Just 4 fixtures remain in 2025, with City traveling to San Jose on Saturday. KTRS weather today cloudy, high of 89. Tonight clear with an overnight low of 67. Tomorrow sunny and a high of 88. Right now we have 84 degrees at 11:07. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Well, he is a part of a terrific broadcast, a broadcast you can hear every weekend on the Big 550 KTRS. He is Chris Gervino, the mayor of Columbia, a guy who works with Howard Richards, our good friend, and Mike Kelly every week. Chris, great to be with you. And as Casey Stengel once said about Busch Stadium at the All-Star Game in 1966, it holds the heat well. How sweltering, because those guys are up in the booth, probably got a fan on them. You're out there in the trenches. How hot was it for you, sir?
It was warm. It really was. Hard to deny that. It was 111 degrees. They had a thermometer on the field when I came out at halftime, and I wanted to see that with my own eyes. And I precisely got close and looked, and it was 111. So it was warm. I was glad to make it through the game and get a nice cold shower afterwards. But there have been some warm games over the years when you play in September. The one I think I remember the most might have been way back in 1988 when the Houston Cougars with a guy named Andre Ware came to town. Mm-hmm. Boy, they put it on the Tigers that day. But I don't know what the temperature was, but I was just out of college, and boy, it was a warm day as I recall that. So that one for some reason stands out, and it must have been bad because I was a lot younger then, guys. but we got through this Saturday.
That's great. Chris, Jill Farmer here. Tell us how you thought our Tigers looked on Saturday.
Well, I thought, they looked pretty good. It really was not much of a football game. Wasn't too competitive. Missouri got up, it was 28-0, I think, midway through the second quarter. And I remember thinking, because I do like looking at those lines before the games, they were 27.5-point favorite, and they had that covered in the second quarter. And in all seriousness, it just was really a mismatch. And as I said a couple of times, not to disrespect Louisiana, because that's a decent team, certainly in the Sun Belt Conference. It's a group of 5 conference. I think studying Missouri's opponents this year, at least heading into the season, and you never know till you really get to see them, but I certainly would put them above UMass and obviously Central Arkansas. So it's not like it was really going to be a walkover right from the opening kick, but it basically turned out that way. So I thought it was a mature performance, if you will, from Missouri. Just took care of business and never left any doubt.
Chris, because in St. Louis we haven't had much success with our baseball team in 2025, hockey team had a couple of playoff games, soccer team has been rough, and we don't count Kansas City. I said on TV last night that this could be, this Saturday, one of the most anticipated sporting events in 2025, because as soon as this schedule popped out, we thought, boy, if you could beat South Carolina and be 4-0, and then you're going to beat UMass, you'd be 5-0 heading into Alabama. But this is the game. Now, it may have lost a little luster because a Heisman Trophy candidate, Lenora Sellers, may not play. But, Chris, in terms of anticipation, this is the game we've been thinking about for a long time, right?
Right. It's going to be a lot of fun. There are always those pivotal games, it seems, at least lately, on Missouri's schedule in September. Kansas State kind of played that role a couple of times. Once there, didn't go so well. The season didn't go as well as then when they beat Kansas State here just a couple of years ago. And that really, I think, is the biggest game still in Drinkwitz's career because it totally changed the trajectory, albeit early in the season, and got that team rolling to now 24-5 in the last 2+ seasons. Only 4 power conference schools have better records than that since that time. You've probably heard of them, Frank and Jill: Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, and Georgia. So that's pretty good company. And Michigan matches Missouri, by the way, now at 24-5. But it's a big game. It does lose a little luster. I mean, fans are going to be excited about its importance. Vanderbilt really put it to South Carolina. And, of course, the big question everybody wants to know, nobody knows for sure, I don't believe at this time, is the status of Lenora Sellers, their quarterback, who really did a nice job against Mizzou last season. And as a redshirt sophomore, he'll be eligible for the draft next April and is considered one of the top quarterback prospects. Big kid, 6'3", 240, but who knows, because he was knocked out of the game with a head injury against Vandy, didn't return. But that's clearly the big question right now, with this matchup. And I think Missouri would have been favored anyway at home. I really do. And now I'm certain they will be going into the game, even regardless of his status.
And what are you thinking of what you're seeing in the quarterback position so far in these first games?
Well, I think he's been really good. The numbers are crazy good for Bo Pribula. 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. His completion percentage has been just skyrocketing up and away. That'll probably come down a little bit, obviously, with the SEC starting. But he's been great. Didn't get on the field a ton at Penn State, but gave a good account of himself when he did. I thought it was a really good addition when Missouri was able to land him. We knew he could run the ball, and he's proven to be a good passer. The thing you've just got to watch is turnovers, and he's just had a couple. He's had 1 interception compared to 7 touchdown passes, but then he had the fumble. That, of course, was returned for the scoop and score by Kansas, which kept that game a lot closer on the scoreboard than it should have been, as Missouri, out doubled them in terms of time of possession, total yards, and just really controlled that football game, first downs as well. So I think he's been everything they could have asked for through a couple of games, and really been one of many great additions through the transfer portal.
Chris Trevino is with us. Chris, give us a little insight on Eli Drinkwitz. You're with him as much as any member of the media. And, at the beginning of the season at SEC Media Days, he came out and basically said, I don't really care what you people think. And he's gotten to that point because when you win 21 games, you don't care what the media thinks. But what about him, just his evolution as a coach and the way he connects with recruits and gets in players? He's now a CEO. He's working out deals. Give us a little insight into his personality.
Well, he's unique. I mean, he really is. He's unique. He'll say what he thinks, usually, for better or worse, some people might say. But it's fun to interview him because you really don't know what he's going to say. He's surprised me, sometimes being more talkative and expressive than I thought might have been early in his career, and then sometimes he's dialed it back when I thought, oh, maybe he's going to have some fun with this one. But he's young. He's 42 years old right now.
Wow.
To a lot of us, that's really young.
Yeah.
To a lot of us. But it's amazing. And the guy is so sharp. We talked with Howard and Mike on the game. I think he manages the clock so well, and I've said that for the last couple of years. You think of all the close games Missouri's been in. I mean, the record's incredible in one-score games the last couple of years. I think it's something like 10-1. I don't know exactly the mark now, but they've won so many close games last year, and that comes down to really, obviously coaching and clutch play and time management and managing that clock. And I promise you, having done this my whole adult life, not all coaches manage the games and tell time properly. And it used to drive me nuts over many games and seasons. It's just common math a lot of times, playing the scoreboard and the clock, time and score. And we have to watch the time so much in broadcasting, as you guys know. So I'm always aware of that stuff. But he gets it. And you talk about assembling talent. It's not just him, but they've got everybody's in the transfer portal now, schools getting players. But I mentioned this the other day with him on postgame. Missouri's got 8 of its 22 starters from the portal. Pribula, Hardy, who's as good as we talked about, remember, before the season, Frank. Coleman, of course, from there in St. Louis. On the offensive line, Judice and Trost. Then defensively, Wilson and Trotter and Catalan. These are 8 starters, and 5 of those guys are eligible to come back to Missouri after this season. So it's not just him, but he's got good guys around him assembling a roster in this day and age of college football. And this season and the immediate future looks really bright, I think.
Chris, you mentioned that Coach Drinkwitz being young, you like all of us in the studio -1 here are pretty seasoned in the world of media and particularly sports media for you. Earlier in the show, Frank played soundbite with Brian Kelly, LSU Tigers football coach, as he snapped at a reporter after the team's 20-10 victory over Florida. I just am curious in your take on that. Reporter asked the wrong question at the wrong time. Coach has to try to be smooth and calm with everybody even when they ask the wrong question at the wrong time. I just am curious what your take on situations like that would be after so many years in the biz.
Well, first off, and this is the honest-to-God truth, I haven't seen or heard that comment. I saw the headline on it that he blew up at a reporter, and it really didn't interest me enough at that time. I think it was late Saturday night when I was exhausted to even look it up. So I've not seen that at all. I will say Kelly, I think, is usually, Brian Kelly, really polished with the media, and he is like a CEO and handles himself pretty well. I understand he tried the Louisiana accent when he first got to LSU, and that didn't go over well, as I recall. I do remember that. But, like I said, I don't even know what the question was or the answer, but I just think the games are so emotional. They're out there. That LSU is unbelievable as an atmosphere, and those were, of course, his fans in that game at Baton Rouge, 102,000. You wish they could be polished or polite, especially after a victory. But, I don't know what the question or answer was, honestly, specifics. And I wouldn't avoid that, as you know, Frank. I just don't know. I didn't pay attention to it. I just saw the headline after the game.
Well, they just won a big game, and he started off by saying, what's gone wrong with your rushing attack? Something along those lines. It wasn't that nasty, but as you know, Chris, because you interview coaches right afterwards. There is the art of asking the question, and you did just succeed. I mean, when LSU and Brian Kelly woke up that day, the only mission was to win the game, and they won the game. So you don't want to open it up with negativity, and you've always done such a great job with that. If you would have asked go ahead.
I was just going to say thank you. I don't know about that. I mean, but the thing I'm aware of is I'm the first guy to talk to the coach after the game. I mean, literally, usually the first person. Sometimes the TV reporter might get him off the field, but a lot of times they don't. So I do think time and place is everything. And, after you win a game, why would you ask about a struggling rushing attack if that was it? That kind of – and that's just – I mean, that job, you talk about pressure, whoa, at LSU. So, but I think usually I don't know Brian Kelly. I just think usually seeing him from afar, he comes across as a polished CEO compared to many other coaches who are younger and even more emotional. But again, didn't see it, but I was surprised by the headline. Like, what could that have been about? But I wasn't that peaked to even check it out.
Yeah. Well, I can assure you that on Saturday, when Mizzou beat South Carolina 28-7, and Bo Prabula throws 3 touchdowns and 1 pick, the first question to Coach Drink from you, what is Prabula thinking on that interception?
Yeah.
That will not be your first question, correct?
Note to self right now, don't ask that particular question if that happens. I doubt I'll do that, hopefully.
Well, good to hear your voice, young man. You're doing a great job. We love listening to you on KTRS. It's a great broadcast team. Do you have to put on Ben Gay for carrying Howard for 3 hours?
I will tell you, he's a big, strong guy, even at his advanced age, because he's really seasoned, to use Jill's word, which I appreciated. So it's not an easy job, but I'm struggling yet trying to keep doing it.
We'll see you Saturday. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you better be here, Frank.
I am
sending
coming.
Corey Miller to all these games. Corey's great, but I want to see you too.
I will be there Saturday, sir. Thank you so much, buddy. Take care.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, Chris Trevino joining us.
Wow. It's always fun to talk to the experts and people that just have so much knowledge. And when it comes to Mizzou football, Chris Trevino sure does. When it comes to furniture, our friends at Miller Furniture, same kind of expertise, same kind of longevity to the tune of 4 generations. And why do we say that? We tend to attract a lot of businesses that are generational businesses here, like Miller Furniture. And that's because our listeners like to go to companies, like to give their business to companies. They're loyal to us, and they are loyal to the companies that have been in business and doing it right for a very long time. And that is exactly what describes our friends at Miller Furniture. The newer generation within the furniture business has said, listen, we made people in Belleville so happy and have furnished houses in this region for so long. Why don't we expand to more locations so it's a closer drive for people? And that's what they've done. So 4 incredible locations. One is definitely close to you. We've got the Belleville location, Fairview Heights, Lake St. Louis, and Ellisville. And their showrooms are all unique, beautiful, and different. Fairview Heights is where you probably want to go if you want all the all of the mattress selection there is, the largest mattress showroom in the entire St. Louis area, and that is saying something. Also, that's where you want to go if you want to see the Stickley furniture and some of the which is one of the most highly regarded traditional, beautiful American-made furniture brands there are. Every one of the locations, though, has just such a huge selection of custom furniture as well, and that means that you get to choose not just only the fabric that you might have on a dining room chair, but the wood grain, the length of the chair, whether you want it to be higher or taller. All of that is customizable, and that's because of the American-made Amish furniture that they do so well. 99% of the furniture at Miller Furniture is American-made, and boy, that's a big advantage right now in this time of tariffs that we live in. Miller Furniture, MUELLER Furniture.com.
Mom, what do you always say? There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer.
That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newstetter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry in Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
Football is back, which means Dogtown is back. Dogtown Pizza, that is. And with 12 games on Mizzou's upcoming football schedule, you can have a different pizza every game. Kick off the season with a bacon, have a hot chicken on homecoming, and save that pepperoni peppercini, my favorite, for Arkansas. It's football season, and nothing goes better with the pigskin than a hot Dogtown Pizza. Let's cheer on those Missouri Tigers. M-I-Z... D-O-G, Dogtown Pizza, and dogtownpizza.com.
When you go and get your car washed, do you really care which car wash you go to? Yes, because not all car washes are created equal. Country Club Car Wash is the local family-owned and family-operated car wash since 1989. All these other ones that are popping up, they're all run by out-of-town hedge funds. Keep it local, keep it great. Touchless car washes, no brushes, inside and out. 5 area locations, Country Club Car Wash or cccwstl.com.
When you want to send flowers to a loved one for a birthday, anniversary, or that special occasion, call your friends at Walter Knoll Florist. Walter Knoll is family-owned and operated and offers custom designs by expert designers. A huge inventory and selection that only the largest florist can offer, with quality and care that no grocery store florist can meet. They have several locations in the St. Louis metro area to serve you. Order online today at WKF.com. That's WKF.com. Walter Knoll Florist, your personal florist since 1883.
St. Louis is home to more than 80,000 University of Missouri, St. Louis alumni, where they drive the region's economy and contribute to its social and cultural well-being. At UMSOL, more is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
Yeah, they're on the med, and these medications are used, these GLP-1s, for reducing inflammation in your body. I get so many folks that are like, wow, I don't have the knee pain. I don't have the...
Because once you start losing weight, all these other things naturally happen to you in a positive way. Not just talk about the deals for KTRS listeners at stlmedweightloss.com.
All KTRS listeners, they get $50 to $100 off their first month. And what's beautiful about it too, hey, I get it. The economy, what we just had, guys, things are difficult right now, but we make the plan work for you. We have financing options. We make this work for you because we realize how important it is to get down in your weight, get your confidence back, and really start feeling like the old you.
Call stlmedweightloss.com and ask Dr. Joe. stlmedweightloss.com.
The big, beautiful tax bill just passed. Do you know how these changes will affect your financial plan? What changes has your financial advisor made to take advantage of these opportunities before they expire? Join me, Kevin Lloyd, for my next tax workshop, 314-641-1010. Learn how these changes can benefit you and your family. 314-641-1010.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPLA, registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC.
Truck drivers, have you been searching for a more reliable driving job? Get the paychecks and predictability you need as a Schneider driver. Schneider's large selection of driving jobs means you can get the home time that suits your schedule. Choose from daily, weekly, monthly, or sometime in between. Plus, Schneider drivers have access to great benefits with a 401k match and a 24/7 support team. Get the keys to a better driving job. Search openings near you and apply now at SchneiderJobs.com.
Diana from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers here to remind you, we don't just offer the best pieces, we offer one of the last master hand engravers in our country. My father can create timeless, personal, and unforgettable pieces. Come by our showroom at the corner of Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or learn more online at wowdiamonds.com.
The Bommarito Automotive Group has been your number one choice for all your automotive needs for over 51 years. They've sold over 1 million vehicles by giving you a better price, a better selection, and more for your trade. You can shop them online, see their entire inventory at Bommarito.com.
Want a song?
You're on my mind like the song on the radio.
Want a quote? It's the song and quote of the day on the Frank and Jill Show. Right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Welcome back to the Frank and Jill Show. Time check, 11:26. I'm Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano, along with Connor McCarthy here. Happy Monday to you. We are very glad you were taking the time to be with us here today. So we had a suggestion for the song of the day today that came from one of you, our amazing listeners. We were having that conversation, Frank, if you remember, on Friday about how to pronounce things like Audi versus Audi and Porsche versus Porsche and pronunciation. And somebody said, listen, you have got to choose for the next song of the day this song written by John Prine and sung by John Prine and Iris DeMen. So here it is. So they were pointing out that even this classic John Prine song, he even poked fun of the people who couldn't get Chevrolet pronounced correctly in the fancy French way. John Prine, of course, most of us, I mean, he was an incredible songwriter. He was a lot of musicians' favorite musician, including people like Dylan. Angel from Montgomery, one of my all-time favorite songs, which was his. But I'd never heard this one, and I appreciate our listener who pointed out that in light of our conversation, this was about as apropos as it gets.
I've never heard that song.
I had neither. Had you, Connor?
No. And I've never heard anyone pronounce it Chevrolet, but I don't know if that was a problem back in the day.
I don't think it was. I think it was just pointing out that that if you're not the jet set, I think it was just a good word to rhyme with that, but it was very fun to hear. Arthur Brooks is probably, when it comes to academics anyway, considered one of the leading experts on happiness in the world and happiness in the workplace. He's been at Harvard for a long time. He was somebody who kind of famously went from being a Democrat to a Republican. You see him all over on all channels. Now he's a registered independent, still works for Harvard and teaches one of the most popular classes ever on the subject of happiness. And so he recently did a really good talk that I had a chance to catch up on this idea of whether work, because we're all back at work on a Monday, many of us, whether work is supposed to make us happy or not. Here are his thoughts on that. Earned success and service to others, and that's around in all kinds of data. He's not the only one that talks about this. He's one of the people that's probably researched it the most, and that means that you have to do something and have some agency or control over the outcome of something. That means that you can't just like push buttons that somebody tells you to push with no ability to make a difference in it. You have to learn something, master something, have some agency to show some success. That's earned success. And then service to others, obviously. We know what that means.
And I think we're all built differently. And I don't know if it's a male-female thing, but I think that some people, like determine their self-worth from their profession. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I think, yes.
I know it's a little bit different topic there, but...
yes, I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of does. I think if anybody who's very career-driven, male or female, I think that's extremely true. And historically, if particularly men over the age of 55 have been responsible for being primary breadwinners, and so there's a pressure on top of that too. So there's self-worth and pressure.
And I liked what he said about, the money thing, that it doesn't make you happy, but it can eliminate,
unhappiness.
Yeah.
Right. But that's the big question is, do we want to just not be unhappy, or do we want to be happy in life? And I think that's what he's challenging people to think about.
Like, as much as you may have liked your time at Fox 2, wasn't the best time at Fox 2 was at either 6 o'clock or 11 o'clock when you were off, when you were driving home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I always feel that way. Like, God, I'd mad rush to get all these programs on and do all these teases and edit all this stuff. But my happiest time is at 10:35.
So then my question for you is that happiness a sense of accomplishment and where you feel like some completion of accomplishment, or is it happiness relief to be done?
That's a great question. I would say it's kind of a relief to be done.
Yeah, and that's the $1 million question are there any things that you can change in life so that the sense of completion has a sense of accomplishment, or that something matters to you? Because people who have a sense that something that they've done matters in a given day tend to be happier long term than those who don't. Yeah,
and probably as you get older, you evolve a little bit into it's not as important, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or what you get, your sense of accomplishment may not be kudos from others, but I got to tell the story from somebody who made a big difference. The internal sense that what you mark as a sense of accomplishment will change, but over the long term, you're still less likely to burn out and be happier at your work if you have a sense of accomplishment versus just relief being finished.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, yes, of course, I felt mostly just relief to be finished for many years in that same situation.
Somebody wants to know the name. We're talking about Arthur Brooks. And I actually read one of his books, Strength to Strength, From Strength to Strength. Was that one of his books? Yeah.
What'd you think?
Really good. He's got a little bit of, he has a little bit of like Norman Vincent Peale, he's a real positive guy. Mm-hmm. And he lets you know what you're doing wrong and how to correct it.
He is, but to me, he's a little less saccharine than some of the other positive thinking people, because he's an economist and he looks at what is actually long-term people. Why are they staying at work, and what work matters to them long-term? And I think that's just an element that I think his stuff is pretty interesting, but that's cool.
Oprah had him on, I know, more than once, too, on some of these books.
Yeah, for sure. And he's kind of changed topics a little bit from, on different things through the years as well, which I think is fun. Speaking of changing topics, guys, it's time. Everybody, a lot of you have been excited about football season starting, and a lot of us are excited as well because it's symphony season. St. Louis Symphony Orchestra getting ready to launch this season for this year. And one of the things that's exciting about that, of course, is they're beginning this season with the reopening of Powell Hall and the new Jack C. Taylor Music Center, which is just, from all reports of people who've had a sneak peek, unbelievably stunning, and just brings some new life to something that is a treasure here in St. Louis that we're all very proud of. Powell Symphony Hall and the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and the incredible work they do. There's so many fun things that are going to be happening. Of course, there's a concert in Forest Park this week as well, which everybody loves. Have you ever had a chance? You always work nights. Have you, in all your years, ever had a chance to do that? The concert, the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra concert in Forest Park?
No.
It's something, someday if you have a Wednesday night off when they do it, it's just the entire Art Hill just filled with picnic baskets and wine and cheese and on a beautiful night in September. Sometimes it can be hot, we know. And the orchestra's playing songs that those of us who are more simple-minded might recognize a little bit in addition to some of the classical music. It's just a night to behold. So I recommend if you're free Wednesday night, you do that. So many other things that can, for your family, for you, so many ways that St. Louis Symphony Orchestra supports us in St. Louis, and it's very fun to be able to support them in the incredible music they create, the history that they make in Powell Symphony Hall every single year. Check them out at slso.org.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
September weather in St. Louis can go in a lot of different directions, but we are stuck on hot for most of this week, up to 93 this afternoon with a cloud-sun mix. Dry for the immediate St. Louis area, but stray shower or storm possible out to the west. Most of that's going to be in central Missouri. We'll keep an eye on it. Holding in the 80s for your evening plans, and then down to 70 for the low early on Tuesday morning. Mostly sunny and dry Tuesday, up to 93 in the afternoon. Wednesday, more of the same, up to about 92. Hoping for some better rain chances by late this week and next weekend. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
Your dentures no longer fit? Maybe you're missing a tooth or several teeth. Visit Dr. Bowen for Simply Secure Dentures and Dental Implants. The cutting-edge, high-quality dental implants that replace all the teeth in your mouth, and it starts as low as $7,000, not the $35,000 that others charge. If you're only missing a few teeth, Dr. Bowen can permanently replace those with something you don't have to take in and out of your mouth. Learn more at simplysecuredentures.com and get the care you need and the teeth you want at Bowen Dental Care or simplysecuredentures.com.
Look at our alums, the contributions that they have made throughout industries in the St. Louis region.
Terry Freerks, a graduate of the University of Missouri, St. Louis.
UMSL is embedded in the fabric of the St. Louis community. We're hands-on, and when our students graduate, they are definitely career ready, but maybe more importantly, they're career confident.
More is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
Scott, remember when the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Pile were flying around the arch selling flooring?
Andrea, that was the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Tile.
Oh, that's right. But we don't need shtick here at Best Buy Flooring.
That's right, because our in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile are already at low, low prices.
Come see us at our 3 area locations, North County, South County, and Metro East. Open 7 days a week.
Plus, free financing on approved credit. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
Congratulations to John Beal Roofing. Want to give them a shout out. They've been a sponsor of the show through thick and through thin for coming up on 20 years. And their message has remained the same all these 20 years. Make sure you call someone local. With all the storms that have been in the area over the last couple of months, it's been busy, and a lot of out-of-towners are coming in. They sure are nice, but you know what? They'll take half your money, and you never see them again. Somebody from the insurance industry told me, make sure you call local. I told them I was well-schooled. John Beal Roofing will guarantee you the best price. They'll work with your insurance company and make sure you get the claim you deserve to fix it and fix it right. Roofing, siding, gutters, all storm damage, John Beal Roofing will take care of it. Keep it local and keep it John Beal. Keep it in the family for 20-plus years. John Beal Roofing, 1-800-NEW-ROOF or johnbealroofing.com.
Kick off football season like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Circa Sports Illinois. It's sports betting the way it should be. With high app limits, low holds, exceptional customer service, and no bet fees ever. Other books may charge you just to get on the field, but with Circa Sports, every play is yours to call. Start betting like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Let's talk about high school for just a moment, because that young man you brought home from the hospital yesterday, you're going to blink your eyes, and all of a sudden now you start talking about high schools. Well, that's where St. Mary's Southside Catholic High School comes in, because it's an all-boys, independent Catholic high school. And what St. Mary's will do is they will prepare your son to be the future. Whether it's college, trade work, or a career of their choice, St. Mary's, over the years, has produced a whole lot of millionaires and a couple of billionaires along the way. And when you graduate from St. Mary's, you have that alumni as a resource. Schedule your visit today and find out more about St. Mary's. stmaryshs.com. That's stmaryshs.com. They will teach the skills that are needed to thrive and survive in the 21st century, as well as teaching old school values. To find out more, stmaryshs.com. That's stmaryshs.com.
All right, we are back on the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. Hope you enjoyed our visits with Greg Willard and Chris Gervino. So we were just talking off the air about the place of dogs in restaurants and grocery stores and stuff like that. And I generally agree that they shouldn't be in restaurants inside or in grocery stores. I want to tell you this one little quick story. Saturday night, I was at,
Filoni's?
Filoni's, yeah. And the reason we go there is because we were with Brooke and Chris, and they had Hank with them, and Dom met us. And they have on their outdoor patio, dogs are allowed. And Hank is this big, humongous, 60-pound, beautiful white dog. Never met an enemy in
Golden
his life.
Retriever?
Golden Doodle.
Okay.
And he's sitting there just so proud and upright and just observing and never harming anybody. And this gentleman comes up and says, "Would you mind if I hung and pet with Hank for a little bit?" I said, "Oh yeah, sure." And it's kind of odd that he asked, and I think this was nice. And he was there for like maybe 2 minutes, and then he looks at our table and he says, "I lost my dog last month, and it's been so devastating. And just being around this big, beautiful white dog, it just makes me feel so good."
Oh, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
And so we encouraged him to, we got to grieve, but boy, if you get another one. And he goes, "I'm going to do it." And being around this dog tonight makes me think now's the time. So it's kind of cool.
Ruby left us 6 years ago, our beloved beagle. And I tell you, every single time I see a beagle, I just get a smile on my face and a tiny little tug on my heart. It aches a little bit because it takes me back to all those incredible years we had with her. She was really bad. She was really, really poorly behaved, and I just loved her so much still.
Yeah.
We could not take Ruby to a restaurant. She would have jumped up on other people's tables and eaten. Yeah, she was not well trained.
And Filoni's has big water bowls too. So, and I think the people that bring them in, they don't bring in a dog that's not going to be behaved in general. The 10 times I've been there.
Right. There's very much a city by city kind of ethos around dogs. If you go to Austin, if you go to, in my experience, and you guys can tell me on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line, what your thoughts are on where dogs should be allowed or not allowed, and B, if you've noticed it when you travel to different cities. Austin, Denver, where there's very outdoorsy kind of vibe, and a lot of young people especially have dogs, and they take them everywhere. I love dogs. I'm up for it to a degree. I don't think they need to be in clothing stores. I don't think they need to be certainly not in the grocery store.
What about being in NBC affiliate offices in downtown St. Louis with nobody in the office except me?
Absolutely. In KTRS studios, I think they definitely belong in here for sure. I mean, Connor, you brought up a really good point about on planes, how they've tightened it up a little bit.
What a scam.
For a while, it was just like the Wild West. You could just go on the plane, and I'll say I even, my mom, I believe, took advantage of that once or twice with her dog.
Get Dr. Richter, write me a note. Yeah, I need this.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it was, and I think they have tightened up, but I thought we probably went a little too far, and now we're kind of getting it back into where it should be.
Yes, I had a friend who has an off-the-charts allergy to pets, to animals, dogs and cats of any kind. So every time she got on a plane and somebody was in there with their, quote, support animal, and she knew that in a closed environment it was going to be really tough.
Now, do you guys know what the most famous instance of a person taking his dog always to work?
No.
You probably know.
Well, I might know when you tell me.
Kirk Herbstreit.
Oh, that's right. He was on they're even getting him on camera.
Okay, fill in the context. I
He's
don't
the
know.
famous broadcaster from ESPN. He does the ABC main game of the week, former Ohio State quarterback. And he has a golden lab, or yellow lab, I'm not sure. But the dog was with him, it took him on every trip. And his son, now this is the way he rationalized it, and I don't certainly want to doubt it, is that he had a son that had some physical or health issues. And by bringing this yellow lab with him, because he travels so much on Fridays, Saturdays, that this dog just kind of let him be okay. He felt better about himself. And the dog is with him at the hotel, on the shoots and everything. And that dog passed away, and there was more of an outpouring of affection for that dog than like any animal I've ever heard of. And now he's got another one with him, and we've seen shots of the new one. And it's kind of cool. He's up in the booth with him, and he's real sweet.
Well, and as you know, I'm a proud alum of Drake University. Bulldogs is our the mascot always, but when I was in college, it was just somebody in a kind of bad, fabric stuffed bulldog costume. Now we have Griff, the actual live mascot, who is the best trained and most amazing bulldog. And as you remember, one of the years when Loyola was still in the Missouri Valley Conference, and Sister Joan was there, and we were trying to get Griff to be able to, the folks at Enterprise Center said no live mascots, he can't be there. And she went on a big public campaign, said, allow Griff. I'm allowed in, and I'm a live mascot. You have to allow Griff to be able to be there too.
Sister Jean.
Yeah, Sister Jean. I'm sorry. I said Joan. I meant Jean. And it was a very fun kind of little bit of friendly competition, but some kindness on her part to say we want him. But I've seen him, hundreds of people lined up to pet him, get their pictures taken. He is the most taller,
That's great.
Bulldogs by their nature are pretty chill anyway, but it's kind of fun. Something we brought up earlier in the show, we talked about kolaches, and we talked about the fact that they are that hand sandwiches or those kinds of sandwiches are around in almost every culture. And one of our fave listeners, Ed Becker, brought up the fact that the pasty is that version. I think it comes from maybe Polish descent, and they're still really big in Michigan. You don't see them a lot of other places.
Well, they're really, I should say, they're really only in the UP of Michigan.
Okay. We can get them in Detroit, too. I've gotten them in Detroit, but yeah.
You said this, but however, I've never seen that, and I asked family members that lived in Detroit, and they were like, oh, yeah, you can get those up in the UP, right? So they seem, maybe you can get them, but maybe you got to know where you can get them.
You need to go up to the UP before it's,
yeah. And I did try one this summer, and I guess I never told you about it. I really liked it. It was like an egg and sausage one, so it was a savory one, a little hot sauce on it. It was good.
And, of course, we've had Damn Fine Hand Pies on the weekly special segment, which is has taken the whole concept, just calling it a hand pie, not calling it, any one of the other more specific ethnic origins. I don't know, what is it? It's just a little bread and a little something yummy inside. There's really nothing better, is there?
Oh, that's good stuff. That is, it's probably better than a donut. Getting a lot of text on dogs. Large dogs over 70 pounds should not be allowed on commercial flights. Same thing happened to my granddaughter. She lost her dog 2 weeks ago. She just needs a dog fix, talking about the guy at Filoni's. I love dogs. The only thing is some dogs aren't as well behaved with other dogs, so it could cause a dog fight. Yeah, I guess so. Lost my sweet boy a couple of weeks ago. Died from complications from neutering surgery. Today would be his first birthday. Tough times. Sorry about that. Chef Todd.
Oh, man. So sorry.
And not a dog person, but don't mind if a dog is well-trained and leaves me alone. Problem is the ones that aren't trained and jump on people and owner doesn't correct the dog.
Right. And then there's the whole $1 million question that comes up in our neighborhood every once in a while. People kind of lose their minds over it is, should the dog always be on the leash or not? Because it's a nice big park, and so there's an area where people traditionally will go take their dogs to run off leash. But technically, in the city of St. Louis, your dog should always be on a leash in a public place. So somebody will get up in arms over it, even though the dogs aren't even by him. I'm like, I can understand if you're walking through there and the dogs start chasing you or you have a negative impact. But when it's just the idea of it you don't like, I don't know.
Yeah. Brooke was walking Kennedy and Hank the other day, just on Friday, and Hank went to the bathroom, and Brooke has got the bag with her. But before she could even, she's got a baby on her, before she could even go down to pick up that stuff, a guy is banging on his window because it was technically in his yard. And she says, I got it. Just like, oh my gosh.
Right. Yeah. Some people in our neighborhood said it should never even happen in somebody else's yard. You always have to take them to the park. So I don't know. A little grace goes a long way in situations like that, for sure. Somebody else that I've been recommending to people for a long, long time, and we talked about how there's a reason that generations of family, we like that at KTRS because they've been delivering excellent customer service for generations. Woods Basement Systems, definitely top of that list as well. Many generations within the family, and next year, big anniversary, 40 years since they started helping people with basements and crawl spaces. Of course, they have completely expanded, offering so many other things to help make your home not only more livable, more functional, but to be able to hold on to its value and be someplace that you can enjoy living and that will hold on to its value for the long haul. If you have, we had a dry spell here just a gentle nudge. Don't wait until that next giant rainstorm comes. We are in St. Louis. It is definitely coming. Take advantage now of the fact that we've had a little bit of a dry spell to correct those problems that you have had maybe experienced once, twice, 3 times, or maybe a lot more times than that in the last few months. Make that appointment today at Woods Basement Systems and see if you can get the problems in your basements or crawl spaces fixed for good. 618-708-4055, woodsbasementsystems.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Scott, can you believe it's already been more than a decade since the Queen of Carpets sold flooring to St. Louis area contractors?
I know, but I don't have to be a king to offer contractors today's lowest prices.
Yes, contractors owe it to their customers and themselves to shop at Best Buy Flooring for the largest in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile.
Plus 3 convenient locations, North County, South County, and Metro East.
Open 7 days a week. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy. Best Buy Flooring.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset. Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. And have a banner day.
Some of my fondest memories as a kid is heading down to the hardware store. You had to pick up a couple of nails, a couple of screws, maybe a gallon of paint, whatever it may be, right? It was your friendly neighborhood hardware store. Well, those don't exist anymore in St. Louis, except for Schnarr's Hardware. They have 2 locations in Webster Groves and in Clayton Road in Ladue. Schnarr's Hardware is that place where you go in and you can get that bucket of paint, you can get a couple screws. The advice is always free. And the one thing about Schnarr's Hardware that every single family hardware store used to have, and that is the smell. It smells like a hardware store. It's got the selection. I don't know how they do it. It's a small store, but they got everything you ever need. They got the paint. They got paint matching. They've got big green eggs. They've got screws and nails and everything a hardware store should have. Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations, 1 great hardware store. Schnarr's Hardware, we'll see you there.
Is it time to make a change with your bank? Hi, it's Julie Buck for Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution with 2 locations, and they've been around since 2005 with a mission to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services. Here's their website. It's triadbanking.com.
Gelmish & Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Gelmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant has been a staple in St. Charles for 35 years. Our comfortable, casual atmosphere offers some of the best comfort food you've ever had. Customers might know our delicious breakfast, but you can have whatever you want, anytime you want, with our full menu 24 hours a day. Nothing warms your heart like Gingham's famous vegetable soup, and we can cater your event, too. If you like homestyle food and great friendly service, you'll love Gingham's Restaurant in St. Charles. 636-946-0266 or ginghamsrestaurant.com.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna's been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna, they get a team that truly cares about their success. Check them out online today at kunafoodservice.com.
What a fun show. And we've got a great one tomorrow. And I just had a chance to read. Dr. Rick always does a lot of research and will kind of share things with us on the cutting edge of medicine that we'll talk about tomorrow. And I don't want to tell too much, but there is a connection between a chemical and causing diabetes that is new scientific information that I think is something everybody's going to want to pay attention to tomorrow. What's coming up tonight on the press box, by the way?
Well,
Sir
Andy
Frank?
Van Slyke, the all-star Gold Glover and the most candid Cardinal analyst in town, it really goes off on how bad the organization is and how bad the fundamentals are and how people are just not held accountable. It's going to be a riveting hour of radio on the Control Option Press Box beginning at 6 o'clock tonight. Quick food suggestion. Went to Costco over the weekend, and they had this red sauce. There's a famous restaurant in New York, Carbone's, and now they've they had this sauce out for a while. And I went and got that. I made pasta this morning for lunch and dinner today.
A jarred sauce?
Yes.
I wanted to tell you about this, Frank. On your recommendation, this weekend I got some of the sauce.
Oh, you got it.
It was really good.
Yes.
It's
Gosh.
like for a jarred sauce, it was really good. Now it's $8 instead of $4.
Did you buy it at Costco?
No, I didn't get the one at Costco. Maybe it would have been cheaper at Costco.
Yeah, I got 2 humongous bottles for probably
I went to the regular
12.
the regular grocery store.
But I got it at home right on the stove as I speak, and I can't wait to go home and eat it. But it is really a good sauce. It's a good restaurant, and it's dirt cheap. Yeah.
Do you go to the Costco
Olivet?
In Olivet?
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Did it change your life?
It does. It's the greatest ever.
That because I will say that probably protected me for years. Is there Costco was a journey. I had to make the
one
list
on 55.
to think about it. Either the one on 55 or I'd go out to the one at Manchester and 141, which was near our church. And so, but it was I kind of had to gear up, and we lived less than a half mile from where that Costco is for many years. That's where early years we raised the kids. And then we moved a little bit further to Creve Coeur and then back to the city. But I think, gosh, all those years, if I just needed to get out of the house, I would have run to that Costco way too often. It probably wouldn't have been a good thing for me.
And a hot dog, because you're a fan of the Costco hot dog.
I am.
That. Yeah. Well, it's a good hot dog. There's no doubt about it. Somebody famous was talking about the Costco hot dog, and I thought of you this week, and I'll think of it. Oh, my God.
It's actually, I mean, it is worse than, somebody pointed to me when I mentioned it last time, like, Jill, regular hot dogs are bad, but the Costco one is worse because it's bigger and fatter, and it's more like a little bratwurst hot dog, had a baby thing, just because it probably has more fat in it. And I was like, yeah, when I looked up the nutritional data, it wasn't good.
It's not an everyday thing, but every once in a while you should do it. All right, that'll do it for this edition of the program. John Carney, Julie Buck coming up next. We'll take a break. We'll be back in 22.
When your reputation's on the line, you don't leave anything to chance, especially your primer. Painters trust Kills primers for a smooth start, strong adhesion, and serious stain-blocking power. And now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same-day or next-day delivery, or order online and pick up in-store. Kills primers. Pro results, faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-859-3220. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-859-3220. That's 800-859-3220 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220.
The
Mizzou football.
The rushing touchdown, and Missouri extends the lead.
KTRS AM, FM 1061, K291CW St. Louis.
In the moments after a single shot struck conservative activist Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University, calls to 911 began.
And what happened? He's a speaker, famous guy, Speaker Kirk.
ABC has obtained some of the 911 calls with people describing the scene after the shooting.
In the parking lot, everybody's running. The whole UVU is running. Okay.
Suspect Tyler Robinson remains in jail. Authorities say he is not cooperating. Investigators are sifting through Robinson's background for a possible motive. ABC's Matt Gutman is in Utah and says we're also learning more about how the released images helped identify the suspect.
We are focused on what happens now. What happened?
Authorities say it was his own father who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office after seeing those grainy pictures that were shared with the public. And according to the New York Times, those images were also recognized by acquaintances of the suspect in a group chat on a messaging app. Several of the group members apparently joking with the alleged shooter about how he resembled the person in the photos.
Kirk's funeral and memorial takes place Sunday in Phoenix. President Trump says he will attend. Qatari officials hosted a summit of Arab and Islamic nations today. It follows Israel's attack on Hamas leaders in Qatar's capital last week. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also meeting in Israel about the war in Gaza and efforts to release the remaining Hamas-held hostages. At a joint briefing, Rubio says the U.S. would prefer a ceasefire, but also says Hamas must be defeated.
We are focused on what happens now. What happens next? What role can Qatar play possibly in reaching an outcome here that leads not just to the end of this hostilities, not just to the release of all of the hostages, both living and deceased, not just the disarmament and elimination of Hamas, but also a better future for the people of Gaza.
Rubio is expected to meet with Qatari officials during his Mideast trip. You're listening to ABC News.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-859-3220. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy